Wouldn't it be great if you could access billions of records and in real time build insight out of that data with world-class visualizations? Well, you can with Zoomdata, the next generation of big data analytics. My name is Matthew Weber. I'm the VP of Design and UX from Zoomdata. With Zoomdata, you can throw any size data at it. It could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, or it could handle as much data as you have in the Library of Congress. I'm talking terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, literally trillions upon quadrillions of rows of data, or what we simply call really big data. Well, that's just great. But what do you do with all that data? Just because you have tons of it doesn't mean that it will make sense. You need someone to make insight out of all that stuff. And that's why we've created a world-class visualization platform that will easily allow you to explore billions of records ridiculously fast so that anyone at your company can be empowered with insight to build your next brilliant initiative. So, in a nutshell, oh, the video did not run. Oh, shit. Okay, anyways. It was so cool. Anyways, next one up. So in a nutshell, Zoomdata handles big data. It's real time, and it does visualizations. Now, Zoomdata is awesome as an internal platform for generating insights out of gobs of data. But our customers are telling us, hey, Zoomdata, we've got tons of this data, and we want to sell it to other people. We want to white label your product and resell it as our own, and that's exactly what we've started to do. Lots of our customers are now reselling Zoomdata to leverage their own data as a product. So you may be thinking, okay, we have a big enterprise at stake here. We'd like to see what kind of traction you've gotten in the marketplace before we talk some more. Well, that's great. Our first 20 customers we had this in the past year, one of them was for more than $10 million. And we've also recently completed a B round of funding led by Excel Partners. Those are the same VC folks who invested in Dropbox, Facebook, and Cloudera. So we feel really great about our traction, and we feel like we've got the wind at our backs. So all right, we got it. Well, there we go. Okay. So let's see what we're going to look at our demo today. We're going to be exploring 100 million records. And this is a streaming live data set. We'll start at our dashboard, which is a social place where you can share insight with your peers. And next, we're going to look at a variety of visualizations, including scatterplots, bar charts, and the most amazing pivot table you've ever seen. And then we're going to look at historical and live data in our data DVR. But, Matt, you're saying, that's not enough. I want more. Fine, you got it. We're going to look at 1 billion records. And with that data set, we're going to be looking at our Hadoop cluster with Cloudera Impala installed. We're going to look at a map where we are going to see all of our sales data congregated in one place. And then we're going to filter it with instant results. And we're going to see insight at the speed of thought. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's get to this demo. All right, so here we are at the Zoomdata homepage. The Zoomdata homepage is a social place where you can share dashboards with other people in your team. Let's go into the real-time sales dashboard. This data source has 100 million records for an online retailer, and the dashboard is updating in real time from streaming data. A dashboard like this is super simple to make and can be shared with anyone on your team. Let's open this Scatterplot up. Okay, so in this Scatterplot, we have volume on the y-axis and sales on the x-axis, and each bubble is a city. This bubble over here, this is Los Angeles, and we could easily change it to be organized by state instead. You see this thing that says user city? That looks like an intuitive place to change it. It is. User state, now it's organized by user state. It couldn't be simpler than that. This thing down here, this is the data DVR. We can go back in time to any historical time period and play back the results. Let's imagine we're going back to Black Friday, for instance, and we're going to speed up playback speed, and we can go through playback of historical time, moment by moment, and we're zooming through the past right now through our data DVR. But we can even look at data live as it's streaming into your machines. So let's just go over here. We'll put this to this hour, and let me zoom in over here so you can see this also. It says live. For those of you who have to go through an ETL process, this might be particularly interesting that there is no ETL process. We go straight to your machines for the data, and we don't have to transform it like other platforms do. We can literally see the data as it's happening. Well, what if you want to try one of our other visualizations? Well, it's super simple. We can take our same filters, and we'll just change it to another visualization type. We're going to look at a bar chart, for instance, and super simple. OK, we want to look at something a little more interesting. We want to see each of those bars broken out into different areas of information. So here we go. Now each of these bars is broken out into actual sale. User income. Let's change it to be by product category. That's great. And let's change. We're going to add a filter so that we're only going to look at major markets. And let's do one more thing. We're going to change it so that instead of looking the total actual sales, we're going to change it to be the average sales. And we're looking now for look at this. In a moment, we've gotten all the way down. We can see we've gotten to the point where we're beginning to get new levels of insight that no one's ever seen from this data before. Like, who knew that in Ohio, gold rings were such a huge part of their overall sales? And we can actually see overall through each state, this gold area right here is doing extremely well. And we can go even deeper still. Let's go into, say, like this area right here, loose stones. We can go into the individual records here, and we've gone from haystack to needle in just a few moments. And this can drive whatever great idea that I'm going with next. OK. All right. So earlier today, I was talking to a guy who works at a big bank here in New York City, and he was telling me how he has to stitch together 7 different pivot tables to accommodate all the data that he's working with. And I want to show you, not only does he have to do 7 different pivot tables, he stitches them together with Access. It's not simple. It's not easy. That data is sort of locked up in what he's doing today. A big thing of what we're trying to do is making data accessible to everybody within your organization. So let me show you how easy it is to make a pivot table from here. We just select pivot table, and we take in 100 million records, and we just cut through it like butter. And here it is. We got through 100 million records. We can add another way to organize it. We'll add user study over here, and it's the most powerful pivot table that you've ever seen. Okay, so there's one last thing I want to show you today. I want to show you our patented micro querying process. This is what it allows you to work so ridiculously fast with data sets of any size. And even if you're pulling on billions of records, what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll do a little statistical sampling of your data. So right away, you start getting actionable results. You don't have to go, let's say, you don't have to wait for a query to go through your entire Hadoop cluster for you to actually do something on it. You work as fast as you can think. Let me show you how fast we're going to work with this billion records. As soon as this hits 1%, we begin to see interesting things happening to the map. We see California and Texas coming in here. And before it's even fully loaded, we're going to come in here. We're going to start adding more filters to it. And this is where we really sort of liberate your data, so people can work at it. They're not waiting for people to go grab it for you, and we make it as easy as possible. So in a nutshell, Zoomdata is big data. We're real time. We work with streaming data coming into your servers, and we also make it so that you can interact with it extremely fast. And we do great visualizations. We do what some of the things I didn't show today is that we have a whole visualization platform. If you want to make visualization editor. So the things that you saw today were built off of D3. You could go in and see how they were built. You could duplicate them. You could bring in your own visualizations. It's a very extendable platform. And you can use it internally, or you can white label it. My name is Matthew Weber. I'm here from Zoomdata. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Company, all this like messy spreadsheets and garbage that's floating around. I want to make use of it. How do I start? Like, isn't like.
Well, I can hand you my card afterwards, and that's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically. We'll be happy to talk to you a bit more. That's the easiest way. You can visit the website too. That's the easiest way to start. Hi there.
How does this compare to something like what Tableau offers?
That's a great question. So Tableau is about, I'm so glad you asked it. So Tableau's, it's over 10 years old at this point. It has a lot of old legacy. We're very, very new. And from the ground up, we've been built to work with modern technologies, particularly with big data sources from the ground up. So
legacy, I mean, the company's been public not even 2 years. I mean, technology.
Yep, they've been around for like 10 years or so? I mean, like 30. Like the technology stack has been there for a while, and it wasn't engineered to.
So
it was really like sort of engineered to work with spreadsheets.
I'm using Tableau.
Okay.
Okay, I'm using
Great.
Tableau. What would make me? What's the disruption that you would offer somebody who's already using that or something similar?
So are you using it with really big data sets right now?
I'm not a user. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said that. I thought you were saying that.
If a customer is using Tableau,
That's basically the big thing is that we are really engineered. We're gunning for really
so
large
you're
data
able
sets.
to extract and utilize a much larger data set than what they're able to do.
Well, we will be a lot more performant. That's for sure. I'm not going to say that they don't work with big data at all, but that is absolutely everything that we're gunning for.
So do you only work with Hadoop?
No, we work with all sorts of things. We are so we'll work with Oracle. You can throw a CSV up there if you want. Like literally, it goes from spreadsheet to like ridiculous amounts of data, and we're adding new connectors all the time. So we work with all sorts of things.
You mentioned about the ETL process. I guess in order to do the visualization that you have here, you have to go through the process of formatting your data, standardizing the CSV files, databases, and so on. How does that happen?
How does it actually get into the system?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of different ways. So like if it's a simple data source, it would be, let's say it was just a CSV, just uploaded. You can assign a couple of things to it. If it was something like a Hadoop cluster, I'm the VP of UX and design. I'm not the VP of engineering for that. I can't answer that question. But we would get through it, I guess would be one way or another.
So maybe what he's asking is, do you have pre-built connectors to get to like RDBMS, traditional RDBMS data sources to pull data there?
Oh yeah. Maybe I'll just let's see if I can pull up the what some of our connectors are. And this is actually an older version that I'm running right now. Let's go to sources. So we actually have more sources than we can run than this right now. But this is like, I think we might have a complete list on our website. That's what we're working with right now. So in terms of our connectors, or it was a few months ago. This is an older build. I'm going to come back to you, of course. I got to hit this side of the room, everyone. And sorry.
Thanks for coming to this.
Yeah, sorry. I have this. I'm kind of oriented that way.
As a senior manager and saying, okay, this just cannot be. This is wrong. So if I understand something didn't go right, all I want is where's the source system, who caused it, and FaceTime up, the originator of that data to get a correction. How do I do that?
So how do you find the source of the, like, where does the...
If I say, 50 million sales in the Denver region is just plain wrong, somebody must have entered the data set wrong somewhere. How do I go to the root cause and get that corrected?
That's a great question, but I don't think that's something that we would really address either. So like, let's say it was you were doing an Oracle or something like that. You had that data over there, and you had users putting that in. We're connecting to your Oracle databases, but we're not administering like how people are putting that data in there. So we wouldn't really see
too much garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. Well, so we wouldn't be part of that process of sort of like monitoring the garbage, unfortunately.
So it's impressive that you're kind of avoiding the ETL process. Does that mean you have to spend a lot of time on site with your clients?
We do spend a lot of time. We love our clients very much. We want to spend as much time as we can with them. So yes, we do walk through the installation process with them, sort of setting things up. So it's not a one-click install sort of thing. And
it would be a little difficult to quantify whether your strength is real time or visualization, but rather than like a deeper analysis, do you think there is much need for doing it like a quote real time unquote rather than getting a deeper analysis for and making a
yeah, because there's so much. Sorry to interrupt. I got so passionate about it. So yeah, there is a huge need, and most companies don't have. Well, I shouldn't say most companies. A lot of big companies have huge amounts of data streaming into their servers, and it takes a while for them to understand what's going on, and they can't tell you, because of it, what's going on right now within their company. They're a global company, and it's just too much of a buffer. Like they have to sort of like go through the data for a little while. Maybe it's a little later than that, and it is a significant thing, and we're actually finding a lot of traction with that. And actually, there's two ways I think of real time. There's one that like you have real time access to it, but also just the responsiveness as well. That like you don't have to ask someone to go do a query for you, and like it's done for you. Like it responds to your immediate request has been really important too.
How long does the typical implementation project take, and maybe you can describe some steps that get into it?
Okay, so I think it vastly depends. I'm not sure if I can actually comment on that one, to be honest. So like we will say like
The sweet spot client, describe
the question is how long does implementation take? And I would say I don't know if I feel comfortable answering that one right now. That's okay, but you can ask me again tomorrow and I'll find out. All right, and
use sampling.
yes, yeah.
How much do you leave up to? How much discretion do you give the user about what kind of sampling he wants, and how much risk or uncertainty he wants to allow, and how big a error to allow in terms of the question he's asking? Any kind of guidance?
So what we do is that we do say statistically how far have we gotten through all the data. So you can say we've gotten through 1% of the data. We can't say we don't say at this point, but it's a very interesting idea. How confident are we that this is representative of all the other data, and how much outlier we were? That would be an interesting thing. But right now, we basically do a load indicator to show you how far along we are, and it's up to you to decide. Do you want to wait for the whole thing, or that's good enough. I'm going to go on to my next question on top of that.
And the sampling method is, you get 1% of the data. Is it just 1% that was easiest to get to, or is it somehow actually sampled throughout the dispersed data?
That's a good question. So I can't entirely say it right off the top of my head on that one, but excellent question for sure. Okay.
Can you describe the D3 part of it? How much can you do with customizing the D3 or adding your own?
You can do quite a lot with it. So there's a let me pull it up real quick. It's a visualization studio. I could go into any of these visualizations, and if you're familiar with something like, say, CodePen, I have no idea what this. Okay, here's a visualization. We've actually got our code on the left over here, and this is a D3 visualization. We don't only use D3, but we use a lot of D3, and we see a live preview of it on the right using a sample data set of real-time sales. So, and I will take your question afterwards. I'm getting kicked off now, but thank you very much. All right, thank you, everyone.